Some people walk into a room and change the energy. Others sit quietly and change the entire atmosphere. Anna had always been the quiet type. She wasn't the kind of girl who turned heads when she walked into a room. But there was something about her, in the way she listened, the calmness in her eyes, the stillness that made people want to lean in and stay just a little longer. She grew up in a small town where dreams were considered a luxury. People worked, paid bills, raised children, and kept their heads down. But not Anna. Anna dreamed. She read books late into the night, scribbled ideas in notebooks, and imagined a life far beyond her sleepy little hometown. She wanted to own a cafe, not just any cafe, but a place filled with warmth, books, soft jazz, and the smell of cinnamon. A place where people could pause, breathe, and feel like they belonged. But dreams like that didn't pay rent, so Anna worked. She got a job as an assistant at a local print shop. Long hours, low pay, but it was honest work. She smiled through the tiredness and saved every dollar she could, tucking away pieces of her dream like tiny seeds waiting to bloom. Then came Daniel. He wasn't extraordinary, but he was funny. He knew how to make a room laugh. People liked him. And when he stepped into the print shop one rainy afternoon, soaked and furious over a messed-up order, Anna offered him a tissue. He blinked. She smiled. That was how it started. They began seeing each other. Coffee dates turned into long walks, weekends together, slow mornings, soft promises. He wasn't perfect, but neither was she. Still, they found something in each other, something that felt like home. For the first time, Anna believed she might actually have a future. Not just survival, but something worth living for. What she didn't know was that every calm carries a storm, and hers was already on the way. It started with a late period and a shaky test stick. Anna stared at the two pink lines, her heart pounding so loudly it drowned out the rest of the world. She wasn't sure whether to cry, laugh, or collapse. She placed a hand over her stomach. It was still flat, still silent, but now suddenly sacred. She waited for Daniel to come home. The seconds stretched into hours. He was late. Again. When he finally walked in, she tried to speak, but her voice cracked. I'm pregnant. He blinked. His face didn't light up. It didn't darken either. It just froze. There was a long silence, the kind that fills a room with invisible weight. Then he said, "Wow, that's big. Not good, not bad. Just big." That's all he gave her. In the days that followed, he didn't bring it up again. He still kissed her goodbye in the morning, still asked if she wanted anything from the store, still acted like things were normal. But Anna felt it, a quiet shift. He stayed longer at work. His texts grew shorter. His eyes, once bright when they looked at her, now seemed distracted, distant. At night she lay awake, one hand on her belly, the other gripping a pillow too tightly. She whispered to the tiny life inside her, promises, dreams, apologies. And still, she hoped. Because Anna had always been the kind of woman who gave people time to come around. She believed that maybe, just maybe, Daniel was scared. Not gone. But deep down, the ache had already started. That morning, when Anna woke up, the house was completely quiet. There was no sound of running water in the bathroom, no soft footsteps on the tile floor, no creak of the closet doors, no Daniel mumbling while picking his shirt for the day. Only silence, thick, strange, and cold enough that she pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders. She turned to the right side of the bed, the side where he always slept. Empty. His pillow still had a dent, but the blanket was folded. Too neat, too perfect, unnaturally neat. Something in her chest shifted. Anna sat up slowly, her belly heavy and round under her nightgown. She was 6 months pregnant now. Every movement needed effort, and this morning, every step felt like it took twice the energy, because her heartbeat was starting to go wrong. She moved through the house. The kitchen, quiet. The living room, still. The coffee mug he always used, gone. Her chest tightened. She called out, "Daniel?" No answer. She called again, "Daniel?" Her voice was louder this time, shaky. Still nothing. She walked to the closet. Her hand touched the door. Something inside her whispered, "Don't open it." But she did. Empty. His entire side, gone. His gray hoodie, missing. The small velvet box that held his watch, empty. His sneakers under the bed, not there anymore. He had packed. He had left. But the worst part wasn't the missing things. It was the silence. The absolute silence. No goodbye. No message. No reason. Just gone. Anna stood there, frozen. Her hand clutched the doorframe like she might fall if she let go, and then she did fall. She sank to the floor, not screaming, not yelling, not even sobbing, just collapsing, like every part of her body, from her skin to her soul, had given up all at once. Her belly pushed forward, round and firm, under her soft nightgown. The baby kicked, just a little, just once. A quiet nudge, as if saying, "I'm here." She placed her hand on her stomach and cried, not loud, not shaking, just tears, running down her face, soaking the shirt Daniel once said made her look like spring. Now spring was fading. She didn't know how long she stayed there. Maybe minutes, maybe an hour. She only noticed when the light outside the window changed, and she hadn't moved. She whispered into the air, "Why?" The wind outside whispered back, but no voice answered. That afternoon, Anna gathered all the strength she had and forced herself to stand. Each step was heavy, like the world was sitting on her shoulders. She walked to the bathroom, stood in front of the mirror, and stared at herself. Red eyes, tear-streaked cheeks, lips trembling. It was the first time she truly saw a mother in the mirror. He had left her, but he hadn't taken everything. Anna sat in the hospital waiting room, a white-painted space with cold fluorescent lights and old plastic chairs that had lost their color long ago. Outside, it was raining. Big, heavy drops hit the window and ran down in slow, messy lines. It looked like even the sky was crying with her. The light outside wasn't warm. It was gray, the kind of light before a storm. Anna curled up in her chair, her arms wrapped around her belly, the place where a little life was resting, quiet but real. A soft pain had passed just moments ago, squeezing her whole body into stillness. No one sat beside her, no hand held hers, no eyes watched her with worry. Only the sound of the hospital, voices over the speaker, nurses' shoes moving quickly in the hall, and Anna's own heart beating fast in her ears. She looked around. Other women had someone with them. A husband holding his wife's hand, a mother helping her daughter, a best friend wiping tears. But Anna? She only had a small cloth bag at her feet. Inside were 2 pale baby outfits and a cheap bottle of water. Another wave of pain hit her, stronger this time. She bent over, her teeth tight, sweat starting to form on her forehead. Her hand grabbed the edge of the plastic chair. It was cold and hard. It gave her nothing. A young nurse stepped out and called her name without emotion, like calling a number at a takeout place. "Anna Nguyen, delivery room 3, follow me." Anna stood up. Everything around her slowed. Each step was heavier than anything she had ever walked. Every move felt like walking into a world she wasn't ready for, a world where she had to give birth to a human being, while she herself was barely holding together. The hallway was long. The ceiling was low. The lights were bright white. Her heartbeat echoed like a drum. No one talked to her. No one asked, "Do you want someone with you?" No one knew. She was completely alone. And then the door to the delivery room opened. A room of white. The smell of alcohol, a steel bed, a few doctors in masks, machines beeping like a countdown. They helped her onto the bed. Her hand rested on her belly. The pain was getting worse. She gripped the sheets. No one held her hand. Her vision blurred with tears. And no one saw. Those tears were not just from pain, but from the truth that he should have been here. He should have held her hand. He should have wiped her sweat. He should have been the first to hold this child, but he wasn't. There was only her, and the baby, and the pain that was breaking her in two. Then, a cry, loud, full of life, like someone had lit a candle in the middle of darkness. Anna didn't realize she was crying. Her mouth smiled, her lips shook, her eyes overflowed. A nurse gently placed a tiny being in her arms, red, small, curled up like a new bud. "It's a girl," the nurse whispered. "Healthy. You did great." Anna looked at the baby. Everything else stopped. The machines, the footsteps, the pain. All she could feel was her daughter's breathing, skin to skin, warmth against her chest. In that moment she felt something deep, not fear, not sadness, something whole. She whispered, "Don't be scared, baby. I'm not scared anymore either." Because from that moment on, Anna was not alone. Midnight. The room was so quiet it felt like time had stopped. The wall clock showed 3:12 a.m. But to Anna, time had lost its meaning. In her world now, there was only before the baby cried and after the baby stopped. She sat on the kitchen floor, an old blanket under her back, leaning against the cold wall. She didn't know how long she'd been there. Her baby girl was asleep, wrapped in a thin cloth, lying in a second-hand crib pushed into the corner. The yellow bulb above flickered as if it, too, was too tired to keep going. No one knew she had just spent 2 hours rocking her baby to sleep. No one saw the emptiness in her eyes. No one heard the sighs she swallowed so she wouldn't wake her child. The wind whistled through the window cracks. Water dripped slowly from a leaking pipe. The ceiling had 3 bulbs. 2 had died weeks ago. She didn't have the money to replace them. Anna's eyes stayed open, not because she was awake, but because she was too tired to sleep. She looked around the kitchen. An unwashed bottle, a half-empty water jug, a piece of stale bread from the afternoon. She hugged her knees. She didn't cry, because she knew if she started, she might not stop. And in those long hours, she would sometimes hear old voices in her head. "You made your choice. Now live with it. Don't come crawling back here crying. A girl like you brings shame." Those were her parents' words, from the house she once called home, from the yard where she had stood in the rain for 3 hours, waiting for someone to open the gate. No one did. That night, Anna realized, sometimes people don't have to throw you away. They just need to stop bringing you back. A soft whimper pulled her back to the present. Anna got up and went to the crib. She gently patted her daughter's back. "Shh, I'm here, baby. Mama's here." The baby calmed down, but Anna didn't. Her tears came slowly. No sobs, no shaking, just silent tears. She picked up her baby. The little one curled into her chest, searching for milk. Anna opened her shirt, trying to nurse, but there was no milk. Not enough. "I'm sorry, baby. Let me make a bottle for you." The kitchen felt like stone. She placed her daughter back in the crib and lit the stove. It took 2 clicks before the flame finally appeared. It was weak, blue. Her hands shook as she poured water into the pot. Her eyes stayed on the flame, as if it died, her last bit of hope would vanish too. Behind her, the baby cried louder. When the milk was warm, Anna filled the bottle, sat on the floor, and fed her child. The baby drank fast, like she hadn't eaten in days. Her eyes stayed closed, tears still wet on her cheeks. Anna just stared at her, left hand holding the bottle, right hand wiping her forehead. No one said, "Let me do that. You go rest." The smell of milk, the smell of sweat, the smell of a mother who hadn't showered in 3 days. A cockroach crawled past her foot. Anna didn't even flinch. After her baby fell asleep, Anna stayed sitting. She had no idea how much energy was left inside her. All she knew was, it had all gone into that one bottle. She looked up at the broken wall clock. No one called. No one asked, "Are you okay?" She placed her baby on a towel beside her, buried her face in her hands, and cried. Not out of sadness, but from holding too much for too long, like a ceiling that leaks all night until it collapses quietly at dawn. A small clock fell off the shelf and hit the floor. The sound made Anna lift her head. She wiped her face. She stood, gently picked up her baby, kissed her on the forehead. "Tomorrow, we start again. No one will do it for us. But I won't give up." She laid down, pulling a thin blanket over her chest. The light stayed on. The wind kept blowing. But inside Anna, something was still warm. It was the place where her daughter now slept, morning. Anna hadn't slept much, maybe 2 hours, maybe less. Her baby had cried 3 times during the night. Anna got up each time, fed her, changed her, rocked her back to sleep. Now the sky outside was pale, soft gray, like it hadn't decided yet whether to be day or stay night. Anna sat at the edge of the bed. Her hands held a cheap plastic bag. Inside, a folded resume, an old phone, a small bottle of water, and a packet of crackers. That was all she could bring. She looked over at her baby, still sleeping in the crib. So small, so quiet. Anna's heart felt heavy. She reached in and tucked the blanket tighter around the baby's feet. "I'll be back soon," she whispered. "Please be okay. Please don't cry too much." The neighbor's door creaked open. Mrs. Grant, old, kind, quiet, waited with a soft smile. She took the baby gently from Anna's arms. "Go, sweetheart, I've got her. You go get that job." Anna nodded, but inside her heart was shaking. Her arms felt cold the moment they let go. She turned and walked down the narrow street. The pavement still wet from last night's rain. She wore the only coat she had, too big, sleeves rolled up, second-hand. Each step away from home felt harder than the last, and all the voices in her head started coming back. "You'll never make it. Single mothers just want sympathy. If you were stronger, your man wouldn't have left." No ring, no value. She kept walking. The office building was small, just 3 floors, beige walls, old glass windows. Anna stood outside the door for a long minute. She could see her own reflection in the glass. Pale face, dark circles under her eyes, lips dry, shoulders slightly hunched. She looked like someone who used to have dreams. Now she just had a resume. She opened the door. The receptionist looked up. Young, pretty, perfect nails. Anna handed over her papers. "Hi, I'm here to apply for the admin position." The woman glanced at her, then at the form, then smiled, but not the warm kind. "You're a single mom?" she asked, tilting her Hannah paused. "Yes." "Okay," the woman said. "Just leave your papers. If we're interested, someone will call." No questions, no extra words, just a smile that ended too fast. Anna turned and walked back out. Each step down the stairs felt heavier, not because she didn't get the job, but because she didn't even get seen. She sat down on a bench outside, closed her eyes, let the morning sun hit her face. It wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold either. She thought of her baby. Her daughter would be awake soon and hungry. Anna stood up. She looked at the city, at the buildings, the cars, the people in suits rushing by. No one saw her, no one knew her name, but she whispered it to herself anyway. Anna. Because that's where it starts. Anna walked home slowly. Each step felt heavier than her body. She had no job, no offer, not even a full sentence from anyone. She reached the door, opened it carefully, and stepped inside. The house was quiet, but something felt wrong. "Mrs. Grant?" she called softly. The old woman walked out from the small bedroom, holding Anna's baby. Her face was calm, but her eyes showed worry. "She has a little fever," she said. "It started maybe an hour ago. Not too high, but keep an eye on it." Anna took her baby into her arms. The little girl's skin was warm, her cheeks red. She was breathing faster than normal. Anna's chest tightened. She thanked Mrs. Grant, closed the door, and sat down on the edge of the bed. Her daughter rested her head on Anna's shoulder, small hands grabbing her shirt weakly. Anna checked her phone. Battery, 9%. Bank account, $2.83. She stared at the number for a long time. Not enough for medicine. Not enough for anything. She wrapped her baby tighter in the blanket. The girl made a small noise, half a cry, half a sigh. Anna stood up, walked to the kitchen, opened every cabinet. Nothing but one old can of soup and dry rice. She sat on the floor, held her baby close, felt the warmth from her forehead, heard the raspy sound of her breath. And for the first time in weeks, Anna wanted to scream. But she didn't. She couldn't. Her daughter was in her arms. So instead, Anna cried. Not with her voice, but with her whole body. The kind of crying that lives in the bones. After 20 minutes, the fever didn't break. Anna stood up, picked up her phone. She opened her contacts. Her thumb hovered over a name she hadn't touched since the day she left. A name she never wanted to need again. Mom. She stared at the screen. Her heart beat loud in her chest. Her mother had said, "Don't come back crying. You made this mess. We're done helping." But this wasn't about pride anymore. This was about a child who needed help now. Anna closed her eyes and tapped, "Call." The screen blinked. Calling, Mom. Anna stood near the window. The wind outside moved the curtains slowly. The house was still. Her baby was sleeping, her fever still high. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Then, click. "Hello?" her mother's voice said. Cold, tired, like she had just picked up a number she didn't want to answer. Anna opened her mouth, but her voice didn't come out at first. She looked at her baby. Then she said, "Hi, Mom." Silence. Her mother didn't say hello back, didn't ask how she was, didn't say her name, just waited. Anna took a deep breath. "She's sick," she said softly. "The baby, she has a fever. I don't have money for medicine." There was a pause, a small one. But in that pause, Anna felt like the whole world could fall apart. Then her mother answered, "Anna, I told you this would happen. Not a question, not a comfort, just that." Anna swallowed. "I'm not asking for much," she whispered. "Just something, a little. I'll pay it back." Her mother exhaled loudly. "You chose this life, you left. We all have problems, Anna. I can't help you anymore." Anna didn't respond. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She just listened. Her mother continued, "You're a mother now. Act like one." Then, click, call ended. Anna stood still. The screen went dark. The room didn't move. Nothing did. She looked down at her hands. They were shaking. But her face stayed still. She walked over to her baby, touched her forehead. Still warm. She sat down beside the crib, put her back against the wall. She didn't cry. She just sat for a long time, listening to the soft sound of her baby breathing, and to the sound of her own heart, trying to remember how to beat without hope. It was still early when Anna arrived. The free clinic opened at 8 a.m., but a line had already formed. Mothers, grandmothers, fathers, some with babies, some alone. Anna stood near the back, holding her daughter close. The morning air was cold. Her baby was quiet, head resting on Anna's shoulder, her breath warm against Anna's neck. Anna looked around. Everyone looked tired. No one talked. Just waiting, like hope was something you had to stand in line for. The building was old, paint peeling off the walls. A broken light above the entrance flickered. Inside, the air smelled like bleach and dust. Anna checked in, filled out the form with shaking hands, then sat in a corner of the waiting room. There were no extra chairs. She sat on the floor, held her baby, waited. Minutes passed, then hours. The baby started to fuss. Anna gently rocked her, whispering soft words. "We're okay, just a little more. Please stay with me." Her arms were numb, her back ached. She had skipped breakfast and dinner the night before. There was a small stain on her sleeve, milk from the night feed. She felt like everyone was staring, but no one really was. Everyone was in their own world of worry. Still, Anna felt invisible. Then someone sat down next to her. An older woman, black coat, soft eyes, no makeup. She didn't say anything at first, just looked at Anna's baby. Then at Anna. Then she reached into her purse, pulled out a granola bar and placed it gently on Anna's lap. No words. Just that. Anna looked at it, then looked at the woman. "I'm not begging," she whispered. The woman smiled, soft, kind, not pity, just care. "I know," she said, and nothing else. They sat together like that. Quiet, the baby asleep again. Anna holding her a little tighter. She didn't eat the bar right away. She just held it, like it was more than food, like it was proof that someone still saw her. When the nurse finally called her name, Anna stood up slowly. "You're next," Nat, the woman said gently. "Take your time." Anna nodded. "Thank you," she whispered. Not just for the snack, but for being the first person who didn't make her feel like a mistake. The exam room was small, white walls, one chair, one table, a poster on the wall showing baby growth charts. The lights were bright, but not warm. The kind that made everything feel like paper, thin, pale, almost not real. Anna sat in the corner, her baby in her arms. The little girl's forehead was still warm, but she had stopped crying. Her chest rose and fell in small, quick breaths. Anna rocked her gently, waiting. She had not eaten. Her body was tired, her mind even more. She kept replaying her mother's voice in her head. "You're a mother now. Act like one." It played like a bell, over and over. The door opened. A doctor walked in, a woman, maybe in her 40s, soft eyes, simple clothes under the coat. She smiled, not wide, just enough to feel human. "Hi, I'm Dr. Lewis," she said. "Let's take a look." Anna stood up, placed her baby carefully on the table. The doctor checked her breathing, her ears, her temperature. Then she looked at Anna. "It's a mild fever," she said. "Just a small infection. Nothing too serious. We'll give her some medicine, and she should feel better by tomorrow." Anna nodded. Her chest loosened just a little. Her hands, still cold, found their way to her daughter's feet. She whispered, "You're okay, baby. We're okay." The doctor printed out the prescription, then paused, looked at Anna again, not just at her, into her. "You're doing a hard job," she said gently. "I don't know your story, but I can see it's heavy." Anna blinked. Her lips parted, but no words came. The doctor continued, "You don't need to look strong all the time. You just need to keep showing up, and you're doing that. That's what matters." Anna looked down. Her hands were shaking again, but not from fear this time. From something softer. Something like being seen. She took the prescription, thanked the doctor, and as she walked out, something in her chest felt different. Lighter? Not quite, but less frozen. And that was a start. Night came quietly. Anna held her baby close as they walked home. The city lights were soft, blurred through her tired eyes. Everything felt a little slower, a little quieter. Her daughter's fever had gone down. She was sleeping now, her head resting on Anna's shoulder. Anna opened the door to their small apartment, stepped inside, turned on the light. The bulb above flickered once, then stayed on. The room looked the same, but Anna didn't. Something inside her had changed, just a little. But she felt it. She put her baby to bed, tucked the blanket around her, watched her breathe. Then Anna walked to the bathroom. The mirror was cracked in one corner. There were water spots on the glass, but it was still enough to see herself. She looked and kept looking. She didn't see a mother. Not in the way people said the word. Not clean, not smiling, not perfect. She saw tired eyes, pale lips, hair tied too quickly, skin with no color, a woman who hadn't spoken to anyone she loved in a long time. She leaned closer, looked deeper, and quietly asked, "If I disappeared tomorrow, who would even notice?" The question didn't need an answer. It just needed to be asked. Anna stood there a long time, not crying, not sighing, just there, listening to the faucet drip, watching the way her own breath fogged up the glass, hearing the small sounds from her baby's room, the safe, sleepy kind. And in that still moment she saw something in her own eyes. Not beauty, not strength, but something real. And maybe that was enough to keep going. Morning came slowly. The sky outside was still gray. Anna had barely slept, but she got up anyway. She fed her baby, changed her clothes, cleaned the dishes from last night. It wasn't a good morning. It was just another one, until someone knocked on the door. Tap, tap. Anna froze. She wasn't expecting anyone. She opened the door slowly. It was Mrs. Grant, the older neighbor who had helped her before. She was wearing a light scarf, holding a cloth bag full of something warm. "Good morning," she smiled. "I was wondering, would you like to help me today?" Anna blinked. "Help you?" "At the bakery. Just for a few hours. It's small, nothing fancy. I could use another pair of hands, and I thought of you." Anna looked down at herself. She hadn't brushed her hair yet. Her shirt was too loose. She smelled like baby powder and dish soap. I don't know if I can," she said. Mrs. Grant smiled again. "Not pushing, just gentle. No pressure, sweetheart. Just come see, that's all." She handed Anna the warm bag. Inside, 2 fresh rolls. Still soft, still steaming. "Eat something," she said, "then decide." Anna stood at the door long after Mrs. Grant left, the bread in her hands, the words in her head. "I thought of you." She wasn't used to that. Most people didn't think of her, or if they did, it was in silence or judgment. She sat down, took a bite. The bread was simple, but warm, like something she forgot she needed. And for the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like a ghost. She felt like someone. Not strong, not ready, but maybe able. The bakery was small, just 1 room, 2 ovens, and a long wooden table in the center. The walls were soft yellow. The floor had flour dust on it. The smell was warm, a mix of cinnamon, butter, and fresh bread. Anna stood in the doorway. She held her hands close to her chest, wearing her only clean sweater, hair tied back in a loose ponytail. Her shoes were old. Her heart beat faster than usual. Mrs. Grant smiled from behind the counter. "Come in, dear. Don't worry. Just follow me." Anna stepped inside. The air felt different. Not like her apartment, not like the street. It smelled like morning, like something starting. Mrs. Grant gave her an apron, light blue, a little too big. Anna put it on slowly. Her fingers fumbled with the straps. Her mind whispered, "You don't belong here. You'll mess it up. They'll see you don't know anything." But she tied the knot anyway. The first job, fold napkins, then wipe the counter, then place muffins into little paper bags. Simple things. But her hands shook. She dropped 1 napkin, apologized, dropped a second one. Mrs. Grant said gently, "It's okay. We all drop things sometimes." Anna looked up. The woman didn't laugh, didn't sigh. She just kept packing bread with calm, steady hands. Anna breathed out. 2 hours passed. She swept the floor, helped carry trays, learned how to tie the ribbon on the gift boxes. Her arms ached, her feet hurt. But she hadn't thought about money or pain or fear for a full 10 minutes. She looked at the clock. Still early, still hard, but not hopeless. Before she left, Mrs. Grant handed her a paper bag. "For you," she smiled. "Lunch. Inside, 1 cheese roll, 1 apple, and a folded note." Anna walked home slowly, holding the bag like it was something special. When she opened it, the note said, "You did well today. No name, no lecture, just that." And for the first time in a long time, Anna smiled. Not big, not bright, but real. The sun was starting to go down when Anna got home. She walked slowly up the stairs. Her feet hurt. Her arms ached. The paper lunch bag was almost empty now, but the note inside still sat in her pocket. "You did well today." She unlocked the door and stepped inside. The apartment was quiet, soft, still filled with the morning air, a little cold, a little dusty. Anna dropped her bag, kicked off her shoes. She didn't sit down right away. Instead, she went to check on her baby. The little girl was lying in her crib, eyes open, not crying, just watching. Her face was calm. Her tiny fingers moved slowly through the soft blanket, When Anna leaned over, the baby looked up, and for a second, just a second, she smiled. It wasn't wide, just a little curl at the edge of her mouth, but it was real, and it went straight to Anna's chest. Anna picked her up, held her close, felt the weight of her body, small, warm, soft. The baby touched Anna's face with her hand. It stayed there for a moment, quiet, like she was saying something without words. Anna closed her eyes, and in that stillness, she felt it. Her daughter. She knew. She didn't know what a job was, didn't know about fear or bills or pain, but somehow she knew Mama did something brave today. Anna sat down on the bed, held her baby in her arms. She looked into those little eyes and thought, she's learning from me, not just when I teach her, but when I get back up. The second day at the bakery felt a little easier. Anna knew where the gloves were. She knew how to fold the bags. She didn't drop the napkins this time. Her hands still shook, but not as much. Her eyes were still tired. But she blinked a little slower now. Not like she was hiding, just watching. The morning was quiet. Sunlight came through the front window. It touched the tops of the muffins like gold. The radio played a soft tune, something about rain and second chances. Anna stood behind the counter. Mrs. Grant worked in the back. Then the door opened. A customer walked in. Older woman, long gray coat, red lipstick, kind eyes. She looked around, then pointed to a cinnamon muffin. "One of those, please, sweetheart." Anna froze. Just a second. That word, sweetheart. It had been so long. Not since Daniel. Not since her parents stopped calling. Not since nurses said next instead of hello. She looked up. The woman smiled. Anna smiled back. Soft, small, real. "Coming right up," she said. Her voice didn't shake. She placed the muffin in a bag, folded it neatly, handed it over. "Thank you," the woman said, then walked away. The bell over the door rang as it closed. Anna stood still for a moment, hand on the counter, breath in her throat. She looked down at her name tag. It only said A. She had been afraid to write more, but now she thought maybe tomorrow she'd write the rest. Anna, because maybe that name still belonged to her. The evening was quiet when Anna got home. The hallway light flickered. The apartment smelled like old air and baby lotion. Her baby was sleeping, arms above her head, soft breaths in and out. Anna sat down at the kitchen table. She didn't take off her coat, didn't turn on the TV. She just sat for a long time. Then she reached for a pen. There was a small notebook in the drawer. One she used months ago to write down baby names. It still had blank pages. She opened to the first clean one, stared at it, her hand hovered above the page. Then slowly she wrote, Anna. She looked at the name, her name, and for the first time it didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like a seed, not a flower, not yet, but a beginning. She picked up a pencil, the old kind, yellow, with bite marks at the top page. She started to draw. Not well, not perfect, just small lines. A window, a chair, a crib, a woman holding a cup of tea, smiling just a little, and a child on the floor, drawing too. Anna didn't know what she was drawing, really. She just knew. It was quiet, and it was hers. The pencil shook a little in her hand, but she kept going. She didn't draw a big house, or money, or a man. She drew light. She drew peace. She drew a home that didn't feel heavy. She paused, put the pencil down, touched the page, and whispered, maybe, one day. The morning felt normal. Anna walked to the bakery with her coat buttoned high and her breath showing in the cold. The streets were still quiet, only the sound of leaves moving and one bird singing somewhere far. Inside the bakery, the air was warm again. Mrs. Grant waved from the back. Anna washed her hands, tied her apron, and got to work. She packed muffins, cleaned trays, wiped the counter. Her hands moved faster now. Her steps were lighter, but her mind still carried quiet thoughts. Around 10 a.m., a man walked in, middle-aged, wearing a dark green jacket and soft brown scarf. He moved slowly, like someone who read often and spoke only when needed. Anna greeted him with a small smile. "Good morning," she said. "What can I get for you?" "Just a cinnamon muffin, please." She nodded, grabbed a paper bag, and wrote the name of the muffin in her handwriting. Soft, slanted, careful. She placed the muffin inside, folded the top, and handed it to him with both hands. "Here you go," she said. The man looked at the bag, then at her handwriting, and said, "You have a nice hand. Did you ever write?" Anna froze, just for a second. The question felt small, but it hit something big. She blinked. Write? Stories, poems, letters, anything. Anna looked down. It had been years before the baby, before Daniel, before the silence. I used to, she said. A long time ago. The man smiled. Don't stop too long, he said gently. Sometimes the stories wait for us, but not forever. And then he left, just like that. Anna stood still for a moment, the paper bag still warm on the counter, the word cinnamon written in her own hand. Her fingers touched the pen she used. Her chest felt strange, not sad, not happy, just awake. That night, after putting her baby to bed, she took out the notebook again, turned to a fresh page, and wrote one sentence. Not for anyone, not to impress, just to see if the words would still come. They did. The apartment was quiet. Her baby had fallen asleep early. The dishes were done. The lights were low. Anna sat by the window. A soft breeze moved the curtain. The sky outside was turning blue-gray, the color before real night. She held the small notebook in her lap, and the pencil, just like before. But tonight felt different. She opened to a blank page, not the one where she had drawn, not the one where she wrote her name, a fresh one. She stared at it, the lines, the space. Her hand moved slowly. Then she wrote. The woman stood alone in the kitchen. She didn't know what she was waiting for, only that she couldn't leave just yet. Anna stopped. She blinked. Read it again. The words were soft, simple, but they sounded like her. She wrote another line, then a third. Then she crossed one out, changed a word, added a new one. Not perfect, but alive. And for the first time in a long time, Anna didn't feel like she was surviving the night. She was creating something in it. She wrote for 20 minutes, just small things, a moment, a girl, a window, nothing big. But in those minutes, there was no fear, no shame, no you should, only her and the page. When she closed the notebook, she didn't sigh, she didn't cry, she just smiled. A small one, quiet, but full of something she hadn't felt in months. Her voice, still there, still hers. The bakery smelled like oranges and fresh bread. It was early. The light outside was golden, soft through the windows. Anna stood behind the counter, folding boxes. Mrs. Grant was brewing tea in the back. No customers yet, just the quiet sound of a spoon tapping a mug. Anna's hands moved slowly, her mind somewhere else. Then, almost without thinking, she said, I wrote something last night. Mrs. Grant didn't turn around, just added honey to the tea, stirred once. Yeah, she said. Just a few lines. Nothing big. It's been years. Now Mrs. Grant looked at her, not surprised, not overexcited, just present. Did it feel good? She asked. Anna nodded. Strange, but real. Then keep going, Mrs. Grant said softly. Doesn't have to be for anyone. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just keep going. Anna looked down at the muffin bag she was folding. Her name tag said Anna now, no longer just A. She touched the edge of the bag, wrote thank you on it, in her soft, slanted letters. It's silly, she whispered. I don't even know what I'm writing about. Mrs. Grant smiled. Doesn't matter. You're not writing to prove anything. You're writing to stay awake inside. Anna didn't answer. She didn't need to, because in that moment, she felt something settle in her chest. Not fire, not fireworks, just a small, quiet anchor. Something steady, something that said, you still get to dream. The apartment was quiet again, late evening, soft rain outside. Anna sat at the table. Her baby already asleep, arms curled like little wings. She opened the notebook one last time, this time not to write a story, but a letter, to herself. Not the woman she was now, but the girl she used to be. She took a deep breath and began. Dear me, the one who cried in the bathroom with the test in your hand, the one who waited outside the gate hoping someone would open it, the one who thought, this is the end of who I am. You were wrong. It wasn't the end. It was the start of a harder story, a quieter one, but one that still had meaning. You thought you lost everything, but you didn't lose your voice. You didn't lose your hands, and you didn't lose the part of you that still wants softness, wants safety, wants to build a life even with broken bricks. I'm still here. We're still here. You're tired, I know, but I want you to know something. You made it through every night. You showed up. You fed a child with your own body and your last bit of strength. You stood up when no one clapped. You forgave people who never said sorry. And even after all that, you still wrote. You still loved. You still hoped. So no, you're not weak. You're a miracle no one noticed. But I see you now, and I won't leave you again. Love me. Anna closed the notebook. Her hands were still, her eyes full, but she didn't cry. She just looked out the window, at the rain, at the world, and at the quiet kind of strength it takes to rebuild from the inside out. And this time, she didn't feel alone. Not anymore. 3 years later, there was a small bakery called Little Morning on a quiet street in New Jersey. The trees outside had red leaves and the weather was cool. It was a peaceful fall day. Inside the bakery, Anna stood by the window. She was cleaning a glass and looking outside. Her daughter was playing with a little dog. She had grown up fast. Every morning, her daughter said something that made Anna smile. "Mom, I'm proud of you." Anna had saved money for a long time. After working many hard jobs, she finally opened her own bakery. It wasn't big or fancy, but every cake, every cookie had a little piece of her heart. And one day, everything changed. It started with one customer. He came in on a rainy Monday. He wore an old coat and glasses. He looked very normal. No one knew he was Walt Sherman, a famous writer who worked for American Soul magazine. He ordered an apple pie and tea. After he finished, he asked, "Who made this pie?" Anna said, "I did." He smiled kindly and asked, "Can I talk to you? Just 5 minutes." 1 week later, his story about Anna was on the front cover of the magazine. It was called The Apple Pie Girl, a Story of Hope. It talked about how Anna was left alone with her baby, how she had nothing, and how she never gave up. Millions of people read the story online. People started talking about her, sharing her story everywhere. TV shows invited Anna to speak. Schools asked her to tell her story to students. Then a big bakery company called. Then a book company emailed her. "We want to turn your story into a book." Anna smiled and said, "I never thought one little pie could change my life." That night, Anna sat by the window at home. She took out her old notebook. Inside was a letter she wrote to herself a long time ago. It said, "If you are reading this, it means you didn't give up. You are strong, even when others left. You stood up, you began again. You are a hero, not with a cape, but with love." She smiled quietly. Her life had storms, but now she was standing in the sunshine. And if someone asked, how did she become the CEO of a $1 million company? The answer would be simple. She started with one pie, one dream, and a heart that never gave up. Dear friend, if today feels heavy, if the road ahead seems too far, I want you to remember Anna's story. Life didn't hand her miracles. It handed her storms, but she met each one with quiet courage and the choice to keep going. The Stoics taught us that we cannot control what happens, only how we respond. And sometimes responding means simply standing back up, one more time. You may not see the reward yet. You may not hear applause. But like Anna, you're building something, even if it's just one pie, one page, or one breath at a time. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs you to keep showing up. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's someone out there who needs to hear this today. Maybe it's someone you love. Maybe it's you.